You've probably heard the saying, what gets measured gets done. That works great if you're managing your own kids or if you're leading a multi-billion-dollar global corporation. And it works very well if you're just trying to manage yourself a little bit better. I'm a big fan of tracking as much data as possible in the businesses that I operate. And wherever practical, I want to automate. However, I am not above using low-tech means, especially in the beginning, if I want to figure out what exactly it is that I want to measure and improve. Now, if you start out with low-tech means, which is often the best way to do it, paper is just fine. You can eventually, when you grow, you can create a spreadsheet or invest in software that will do that for you. Now, even though I own hundreds of residential rental properties, I still manage about 40 of them myself. And the reason I do that is twofold. Number one, so that I can stay connected to the market. And number two, so that when I share information with you, you can know that it probably works. Let me give you an example of things that I track. Let's say I have a home that I need to rent. I'm going to want to track 4 or 5 things. And to make it simple, they'll all start with A. I want to track ads, I want to track appointments, then applications, approvals, and agreements. And I found that I can do all of this on a form like this, and I've used this same form for years. I created a template that works just fine for me to have conversations that don't sound like interrogations with prospective tenants. So let me give you those 5 again and kind of break down why I want to track them. There are a number of different advertising media or advertising platforms that we can use as real estate investors. And in different markets and in different times, the best ones will change. I want to track those and find out where I'm getting the biggest bang for my buck and where I should focus most of my efforts. So I will always ask a prospective tenant, if it isn't readily obvious, how they heard about me. So I track ads or ad calls. Out of those ads, my real objective is to convert them into appointments or viewings or showings. So I want ads to convert to appointments. I want to find out how proficient I am in handling those ad calls or emails or texts, how well I am doing at converting those questions into actual appointments. Out of those appointments, really my objective is to generate as many applications as possible, because the more applications that I have, the better chance I'm going to get of finding the right tenant for that property. So ads, then appointments, then applications, and then out of those applications, I'm curious to see how many of those result in approvals. I will qualify, and then I want to find out how many I can approve. And out of those approvals, of course, actual rental agreements. So the 5 things are the ads, the appointments, the applications, the approvals, and then the actual rental agreements. Now, over years and years and years of tracking that information, it's very easy for me to go back to these sheets and find out how I'm doing. I can give you a little bit of an example. I have discovered that it's going to take about 17 ad calls or responses to ads to result in 7 appointments or viewings. Out of those 7 appointments or viewings, I am going to end up receiving about 3 applications. Out of those 3 applications, I will generally approve 1 or 2. And of course, one of those will result in a rental agreement. Now, if I approve 2 and I have similar properties in the community, I can often move that prospective tenant to another property and they'll be quite happy there as well, so that I've made good use of that round of running ads and meeting people. Here's another thing that's interesting that I've discovered. Those 17 calls and 7 showings and 3 applications and 1 or 2 approvals and ultimately the 1 agreement, sometimes in a hot market will happen within 24 hours. And in a slower market, it could take me weeks, but interestingly, it's about the same number. It just takes longer. Now, of course, your results are going to be different from mine because you're in a different market and maybe a different asset class and a different time, and you're a different person and advertising in different ways. So your results will be different, but you will never know until you measure. Here's what I'd like to offer you. If you would like a copy of my template for handling ad calls, I'd be happy to share it with you at www.myrealmnetwork.com/resources. I'll post a PDF and probably something in an editable format so you can make changes that will work best for you. Making money is simple, but life can be hard. I'm Jeff Gunther. If you need help, please ask me in the comments below. I'd love for you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, turn on notifications, and give us a like or share this video if you found it helpful. Thanks for watching today.